Yes.
and still their music lives on,
Indeed. Yeah.
like the Abbas and all the rest.
Most likely the best musical group of
What
our
about
time.
the Abbas? Well,
ABBA was good, but the Beatles were just utterly global.
yeah,
Yeah.
interesting. The
Okay.
Elvis Presley's.
Yes. You mean Elvis Presley? Well, he wasn't a group, but
Yeah,
yes, he was
individual.
certainly, yes. He
Is
did make
Raymond
an
lost
impact.
or what? The way he's
He
done
is
his
not
face.
lost though. He's just looking for a nice moment to chip in with something that will cause an argument.
Maybe we'll talk about Kid
yes.
and Play. Maybe
Sibisa was the
this
best.
time. Of
I
course, when
told
it
you.
comes to
I told you.
Okay,
I told you that he was waiting for the opportunity to say something that will cause
I
an
thought he
argument.
wanted us to be more contemporary and talk about Kid and Play or Outcast.
Them he doesn't know.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
Yes. Anyway, since we have now established that, George, we need to be seeing Raymond. Let's get on with the show. The Drive Safe campaign every morning is brought to you by Joy News and Multimedia Group. It's supported by Imperial General Assurance. Solid protection. Avoid all distractions. Keep both eyes on the road and hands on the steering wheel. Be visible. Drive with your lights on. That is how you drive safe. And it's time for us to say it right. Raymond, you'll be interested in this one today. It's brought to you by Kingdom Books. At Kingdom, quality and affordability are their hallmarks.
Something must be done.
You say either, I say either.
I've got a word for you. Meretricious. That's definitely a rare one, isn't it? One of my favorite words, if I'm being honest. Meretricious. Meretricious. It describes something that seems attractive but is actually false or has no real value. Now, do you know the origin of the word meretricious? It actually comes from the Latin word meretrix, which means prostitute. Oh, and it gets better. The genitive noun for meretrix is actually meretricus, which literally means a woman who earns money. So in ancient Italy, it was believed that any woman who earns money is a prostitute. Sadly, there are some men in modern Ghana whose views haven't evolved much from that. I hope you are not one of them. I hope you are a feminist who earns. A male meretricus, if you will. There we go.
Meritocracy. Meritocracy.
Taking
Matrix.
taking a similar word there. Yeah, meretricus.
Matrix.
Meretricious means something that looks nice but is not genuine.
Okay. Like remote aqua.
Oh no, Raymond is the genuine article.
You said like me.
Oh, I'm just asking. What's
He's
the
the
question?
genuine article.
Oh,
he's
okay.
he's
There
exactly
was a
as
question.
annoying as he
There was a
looks.
question mark.
All right, let's do the news review. It's brought to us this morning by Enterprise Insurance Woodie Wumu Motor Promotion. Enterprise, your advantage.
Now, let me start with the Daily Graphic. It's reporting this morning Mahama picks NDC nomination forms, and that's really happened. But there's a lot more that's been happening, right? AU adopts compact on private sector inclusion in Africa. There is also a very interesting development. I even had a conversation on front. Parliament at 30, right?
Yeah, lots of things were done to commemorate the 30th year of our current parliament. And the majority leader, Seche Mensabos, had a few things to say. Let's catch a quick wrap of what he said.
It is time to re-engineer our constitutional architecture to conform to today's realities. We need a new constitutional order that will ensure gender equity. We need a new constitutional order that will prevent the constant increase in the number of seats in parliament. We need a new constitutional order that will put a cap in the number of ministers of state. A new order that will ensure that the Speaker of Parliament is a serving member of Parliament and that the Parliament of Ghana does not remain as one of only 9 parliaments in the world whose speakers are not members of Parliament. We need a new constitutional order that will give birth to an economic paradigm which will engender wealth creation, entrepreneurial spirit, and talent development as well as jobs for our people, especially the youth, with the active partnership of Parliament. A new constitutional order that would remodel the composition of the NDPC, the National Development Planning Commission, a new constitutional order where the Auditor General will respect the fact that he is a tool for Parliament in the performance of its functions, the oversight functions, and therefore cannot unilaterally exact and prosecute surcharges, and even before submitting his reports to Parliament, find a way to leak the recommendations to the general public. A new constitutional order where assets declared by public servants can be traced and tracked by the Auditor General for purposes of tax compliance, and not to encourage a system where public servants declare their assets that they do not have, but assets that they aspire to have. A new constitutional order where the Auditor General will respect the fact that he is a tool for Parliament in the performance of its functions, the oversight functions, and therefore cannot unilaterally exact and prosecute surcharges, and even before submitting his reports to Parliament, find a way to leak the recommendations to the general public.
Did the majority leader say that the Auditor General is a tool for Parliament?
Yes, that's a part of. But you heard that's what he actually said, for the role that they play. I mean, what he meant was that the constitutional provision says your report should go to Parliament.
Yeah.
And this conversation, even the Attorney General joined the conversation along the line. But the act of what they call it, the Auditor General says when you send it to Parliament, publish it.
Yes.
So I mean, I don't know why they call it leaking. Maybe he has seen something or knows something that we did not know, that when the man is publishing on the website, every other time that we have this conversation, it is because he has sent it to Parliament. I don't know whether there is some fresh information that the majority leader. Apart from that, I agree that we need a new constitutional order. But I think there's a new penchant to take on the Auditor General, sometimes very unjustified.
Look, let me ask a question. And this one, I hope someone in Parliament, majority leader, can find some time to answer it for the people of Ghana. So, the Auditor General, when you say he leaked the report, did he give it to like a foreign government or something?
I mean, it was published on its...
Did he give it to some...
On its website.
Yeah, that's what they
right?
do.
And-
They
and-
publish on the website.
Did he give it to some spies?
And even...
So what do you mean when you say leaked? And more importantly, you Parliament, Nara, is it not the same people of Ghana that you are working for?
Yeah.
So if the report that has been brought to you is given to the people of Ghana as well, how does that impede your ability to do your job? How does it make it? Listen, let me just wrap this. Let me just complete this thought. Anybody who wants to keep information away from the people raises suspicion. So to be perfectly honest, I don't know why anybody in government, in authority, would want to push a narrative that suggests that a document that is being used to work for us should not be given to us.
I mean, could you let's even restrict ourselves to the law? And I stand to be educated in my shortcomings. But what do you describe or mean that Parliament should get access to it? Is it because they should have the time to debate on the stuff or what? Because it was sent to Parliament.
Yes.
It's supposed to be sent to the Speaker. I stand and I understand that even the members
And some
have
parliamentarians
a copy,
admitted receiving
so
copies
if they
of
have
it.
a copy of it, I mean, what else again do you want to be done before? Even if we are restricting ourselves to the constitutional provision as in what should be done, the Auditor General, I stand to be, went through that due process to ensure that Parliament get a copy of it before. Is he arguing that Parliament should then have opportunity to debate?
But
or
who
have
has
an
taken that opportunity
No,
away
no, no.
from them?
I'm just saying that if that's what,
Yeah.
just playing the devil's advocate, then maybe fine. But that is fine. But that thing was published on the website of the Auditor General.
And you see, George, we've come from a very long history where Auditor Generals will wait 2-3 years to actually
And we
submit
should-
reports. Now that they are complying with the timelines, people are now putting
And this one was even the COVID funds.
Yes.
And I think we need to highlight this, that Kojo, there is an independent institution in the IMF, more of ethics and all the rest, that after review of how the COVID funds were handled by the International Monetary Fund, they insisted that any country that benefited from these funds should have an independent agency publish how these funds were used by countries that benefited.
Brilliant.
And apparently it's a precondition, so one
Yes.
of the preconditions for going to the board of the IMF for Ghana's economic program to be approved.
And it's
that
the
the
same
Auditor General
finance
should
minister
publish
who
these
told
results.
all of us, the finance minister told all of us in parliament that there are 6 conditions, and the publication
It's
of the
one of them.
was one of them.
So, I mean, in one breath, yes, you might read, but I'm just saying that for those who appreciate auditing, yes, indeed, there was several opportunities given to some of these individuals. Well, during the public accounts committee, there were instances where we got the understanding that, oh, this and that actually is being worked on. But I'm just saying that any auditor working in the auditing industry, that often there is an opportunity given to these people who have been cited for the necessary response. Sometimes they don't take it serious, they delay. When the thing now comes out, then they are rushing.
Isn't
You
that
understand me?
interesting? I'm yet to hear any legitimate claim against this publication, because it's kind of like, oh no, I mean, we could not. And I was talking about the history we've come from. There was some time in this country that we had to basically be, people had to go to the Auditor General, protest, right?
Yeah.
To insist that they do the right thing. Now we have moved to the point where publications are being done, and the same people in this republic are creating the impression merely because they feel that one person has been embarrassed by it. The current majority that he should wait. Maybe sometime in the future, if it's in opposition or not in government, he will see the usefulness of having access to just a report at the time that it goes to parliament, and there's an act backing it. I'm even hearing some people suggest that we need to repeal the act and amend certain elements
The
of the
same
act.
people who claim that the law doesn't allow for the Auditor General to publish it are now saying that we should go and change the law to prevent the Auditor General from publishing it before Parliament
giving
finishes with it.
access.
So, why would anyone be interested in withholding information? That, by the way, that's the only criticism I have heard of this report.
Yeah.
That it was too many people saw it.
That's basically it.
Can you imagine?
Where leak is.
I mean, it's not as if they have punished anybody out of it all.
No.
We have not even gotten there yet.
Too many people saw the report. That's the only problem with it.
All right.
No, these politicians and their situational wisdom.
well-
They are wise based on their situation.
Could you? Let's
Charlie,
celebrate
let's
30
move on.
years of parliamentary
Yeah,
they have done
democracy
well.
in Ghana.
They have done
We've
well.
come very, very far in the region. We've come very far in the Fourth Republic of Ghana, knowing where we've come from as a country. And I think that is indeed a good time for us to celebrate in terms of multi-party democracy as a country, and how we can also give more women representation in parliament.
Yeah, so let me move on to the daily graphic. The AU adopts compact for private sector inclusion, and there is routine child immunization. The vaccine shortage. So health facilities do not have the vaccines for the routine child immunization. And I hope that we can avert this as early as possible so that we don't create further problems for ourselves going into the future. There was a time that we called something 6 childhood killer disease, and they're very troubling. Now, Nigeria to hold Africa's largest polls on Saturday. And ahead of that, you know all that is happening, right? The cash shortage and people struggling. You've seen the videos of people running around, the political implications of that. We should have a day dedicated to Nigeria.
Nigeria don't
this
carry
conversation.
last.
Yes, yeah. Anyway.
Well, still in the Ghanaian Times, it has a 30 years of democracy. Government commits to strengthen parliament. You also have OMCs with less than 45 outlets won't participate in the Gold for Oil program. And the other story in the front page of the Ghanaian Times, it says Germany ready to support Ghana's domestic debt exchange program. And as another story says, 1 killed, 3 wounded after Mona fires gun at a funeral. In the business finder, remittances inflows to hit $5 billion. It will transform the lives of Ghanaians. And also Ghana Revenue Authority and SML collaborating, paying off. And I'm interested in the remittance, increasingly going up, and what it will mean for the economy. Well, we are struggling with what they call it, hard currency, and what this will actually mean in transforming the economy. Individual funds coming in to support the economy and transform the lives of individuals.
I hope it's cheaper to transfer funds now. It used to
I
be a
think
very
there are
terrible
multiple.
thing.
I mean, doing that from outside, it was a real
Yeah,
challenge, and now there are multiple channels to do that. And I think it's good that the mobile money being able to transfer now. Some of your relative is outside can just do the transfer into your mobile phone, and I think that's really a real transformation. Yeah.
Now, the last paper I have is a daily guide. It says economic performance is abysmal under the NDC. This is the Director of Communications of the NPP, and then that gives more to police, 100 cars, 600 motorbikes anyway. And there is one more, gold for oil. NPA targets only the big OMCs, and that's to make the impact they say should be felt by the people. And Mahama picks forms to lead NDC in 2024. We understand from the likes of Mbura that Dr. Komna Dufo will be picking forms today too.
Was that a leaked information?
Yes. Very privileged information to Mbura and Co.
But it looks like the political season has started,
Very much so.
Interesting. And then, and for me, yesterday I was telling Evans about how the economy will be the main issue going into this election.
That's true.
All right, let's go. I agree. Let's go online. The online review is brought to us by Zenith Bank in your best interest and Goyle Good Energy, your oil marketing company of choice. Goyle keeps making life so convenient. Now you can pay via Momo and your bank card at so many of Goyle's fuel stations. Buy your fuel, pay by Momo, bank card, or Goyle Go card if you prefer. Go on social media, check them out on Facebook. They are Goyle.official. On Instagram is Goyle_GH, and on Twitter it's Goyle_official. Go there for more information on the service stations where you can conveniently use Momo. Goyle, good energy, Goyle. Yeah, dear. All right, so that big story is on myjoyonline.com. Ghana needs new constitution that caps number of ministers, MPs, and makes speaker an MP. That's the majority leader making that point as he talks about the future of Parliament. Mahama picks nomination forms to contest in NDC flag bearership race is also there, and stories about the Nigerian election also. Let's see what's on City Newsroom this morning. We're not perturbed about Mahama contesting presidency. That's the NPP's response. And on CNN this morning, if we may, exclusive story about North Korea, a clear and present danger according to South Korean foreign minister. All right, go check that out. Time now for the BBC News, brought to us by Fidelity Bank. Believe with us.